So we're going to talk about one of my favorite modules now, and that's business history, but almost from a critical perspective of business. So we're going to look at attitudes of business over time. And this is something that is near and dear to my heart. I always reflect on the fact that business critics, or critics of business, was something that was very much a part of my high school years. And it started with a gentleman named José Bové. So I was one of those kids in high school that took French, and José Bové was an activist, or you could call him an agitator, and he really didn't like anything that was American, and he especially hated McDonald's. And so what he wound up doing was leading a bunch of protests against the opening of a McDonald's in a farm village in, I believe it was southeast France. Well, they opened the McDonald's anyhow. So he got all of his local buddies together, these farmers, and they took dump trucks and they dumped apples all over the McDonald's, shattered the windows, and filled the whole thing with local apples. He was upset because he thought that McDonald's was expanding American values and invading Avignon, and also he was upset because McDonald's did not use locally sourced ingredients, which would therefore hurt innocent, sheep farmers, just like José Bové. And the thing that, this is kind of an interesting story, and I, of course, in high school did a report on José Bové, and I called him José Bové, the protector of French identity, and my French teacher at the time, Madame Kyle, gave me a C on that report, and I've never been the same since. So Madame Kyle, if you're watching, I haven't forgotten. So there's a couple underlying sources of kind of business criticisms that we're going to note throughout our historical discussion. First of all, there's this idea that businesses place profit above other more worthwhile values like honesty, truth, justice, love, aesthetics, piety, integrity, tranquility, respect for nature, these kinds of things. So people are upset that profit takes place of more traditional values. And furthermore, when businesses expand, there is some sort of a strain on the traditional social fabric of societies. So in this module, we're going to talk about business attitudes in the ancient world, so that's going to be ancient Greece and Rome. We'll talk about each of these eras very briefly. I will make other videos on this in more depth at a later date. So we've got the ancient world, we've got the medieval, world, towards the Renaissance period, early colonial America, Industrial Revolution, and then we will transition into the 20th century. And so for each of these time periods, we will look at different attitudes towards business. What is acceptable behavior in business? What are acceptable attitudes of social responsibility? We'll kind of compare and contrast them each a little bit. Of course, you could do a whole doctoral thesis on any single one of these epochs of history. We'll do about 5 minutes for each one, at least enough to give you a taste and kind of help you understand how business attitudes have changed over time. So I'm looking forward to seeing you then.